Hey everyone, welcome back to Adventure Dad Life. I'm Sean, and I know what you're thinking. My, what a big pipe you have. All jokes aside, what I have here is one of the many projects we're working on for the Hummer, for Adventure Dad Life, for a couple other projects we've got working on. This one's a little harder to see. I'll get some better footage of it here in just a minute for you. What I wanted to show you though was what it's going to be is a mobile shower or a solar heated shower. So this will get painted flat black. It'll wind up flat black to actually absorb the heat of the sun. It'll get filled with water and become a shower. But I'm a person of, let's build it bigger. Let's build it more ridiculous. What more can I do to that thing to make it more badass?
3, 2, 1, let it rain! Let it rain! The world's biggest shower!
That's how I like to roll. That's what I think about. I can't, when my head gets going, I can't shut it off. So when I started looking at trying to put a shower on the truck, my wife asks, why the hell do you need a shower on your truck? And I said, I don't really know why I need a shower, but it'd be cool to try and build one because I've never done that before, and why not? Let's build one. So as I got into building this shower, it kind of took off on me. I live in Montana. We're not always the sunniest place. A lot of trees, a lot of clouds, and not always the warmest days, even in summer. Some are stupid warm, some are not so warm. We are technically a desert, so you would think it would be warm, but it's really not. It's cloudy, it's windy, it gets cold here. So I started thinking to myself, what if I don't have any sun? What if there's no sun? What if there's no sun to heat my solar heated shower? I'm gonna have a cold shower. That's not good. I don't want that. So how do I heat this thing? How do I make sure it is hot? Or at least gets to a bearable temperature that if I wanted to take a shower, I could. So I started talking to some friends, and one of them started suggesting, well, think about ways to heat the water from the inside. So I started thinking about that. And then it reminded me of a guy I met. He had this really cool setup that I'm going to try and implement, especially since we're putting this on there anyway, onto the Hummer as well. He took something called a water-to-water heat exchanger. And what it was it looks like a tiny little radiator. Super hot water goes on one side, cold to warm water goes on the other side, and they kind of balance each other out. So they both become close to the same temperature. The radiant heat next to them turns them about the same temperature. And he piped his hot water actually off the radiator of his truck. So he was piping the hot end of his radiator fluid into this, and then he actually had a little just a hose that he had with a canister filter on it, so he could actually just throw the canister filter out into any body water, pump it through, and he had hot water for showers or whatever he needed. So I started thinking maybe I could utilize the radiator fluid just like he did. So what we have done, and I'm not going to try and unscrew this thing again because it's on there now, but what I have done is, as you can see, I've got these two inlets here. What's on the inside of these and runs down the pipe and then back to the other one. run constant water pressure off of any water source. But I got to be by a water source to pump water into it. If I'm not by a water source, what happens? I've got gravity, that's great, but maybe I just don't want to dump the whole thing all in at once. Maybe I want to be able to take like a field shower and just get spritzing water out of this thing, get wet, soap up, rinse off. If that's what I'm using it for at that time for shower. So I thought, how do I do that? How do I make sure I will have water coming out of this thing? Air. I'm running an air compressor on the truck. Why not utilize that, right? So there we go. Now we got another means. So I put a simple little air chuck on this guy right here. And this simply will run off of a couple means. One, I can run it off the air compressor I'm putting on the truck. Or one of the other little things I'm going to build with it is I'm going to take a air pump, like a foot pump, for airing up your water toys, your air beds, things like that. Just a little foot pump. I'll modify the hose on that to come up. It'll clip right on top of that little thing, and it'll actually allow me to stand at the shower base, and on the end of that will run a shower head up and then back down, so that gravity doesn't just push everything out. It has to go up over the hump of higher where the water is. So what happens is you pump your foot on the air pump, and it pressurizes the tank enough to help push up over that hump, and it will just kind of squirt water down on you. So that way, if I've got a couple people needing to take a shower, we can preserve the water if that's all we got. This tank is a Schedule 40 PVC pipe with ends. I went with that. A lot of these guys that run this thing, they say go with the smaller pipe, go with the thinner pipe. You don't need to pressurize the system. I plan on pressurizing the system. I plan on adding some heat to the system. I don't want it to fail. So with that, I went with Schedule 40 because it has a higher PSI rating, higher heat rating than the other thinner stuff. Plus, it was actually easier just to find stuff for it. It was a little more expensive, but it was easier to find. Buy it in a 10-foot chunk, and I was going to just do a 6-foot pipe, which only gave me about 4 gallons, maybe 4.5 gallons of water inside that I could carry. And I thought, that's not a lot of water. I want more than that. So we're actually running about 7.5 feet of pipe right now. I had it at 8 feet. 8 feet was just goes too long for the truck. So I cut it down to about 7.5 feet now total, giving me somewhere around 5.5, almost 6 gallons of water I should be able to hold. So with that, I should be able to put 6 gallons of fresh water in this tank, carry that with me to wherever I'm going. I can utilize the engine of the truck with the radiator fluid to heat it. I can utilize the sun to heat it, just depending on the circumstances, the day, the temperature outside, if I'm in a heavily wooded area, or if there's just heavy cloud cover. So I'm guaranteed to have hot water. Trick with painting, especially flat colors, because they can streak really easy. Hit all your corners, your edges, your seams, anything back here, all these little cracks. Hit those with a good heavy coat. Give everything just a real light coating. Everything that's, especially those long, and just build those. As you do that, it's going to be a lot easier to blend these heavy spots where you have to focus a lot of paint, where you have to focus those to keep from streaking and running. You hit those first, give a light coat, let that set up, get kind of tacky, give it another coat. So now we got a couple minutes to wait. So again, you'll see this a lot in a bunch of our upcoming videos, especially our cooking videos, because this will be a means of keeping my area clean, keeping my hands clean, because that's an important thing to do when you're out cooking. So, right on. I'm glad I hope you're interested in it. I know I was. It's been a chore. I'm almost done, so I'm super excited about that. And we'll keep showing you updates and bringing you along for the rest of it. Like I said, I still got to plumb in the pipes to the radiator system. So I got to find a hot and cold side for taking it off and dumping it back into and circulating back in. And then test it all and make sure it actually works and I don't have leaks and nothing goes boom, because nobody wants a 7-foot bomb on the top of their truck. So that would be bad. We're going to avoid that at all costs. And with that being said, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, ring that bell. Come check us out on Facebook and Instagram. We do a lot of updates there. And come over, check out the website, adventuredadlife.com.